I'd say the second use is helping me generate hooks for videos that we're doing. So a lot of times I will use this to kind of help me either craft a
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Walkthrough, the most underrated, valuable marketing podcast show in real estate history. I am Eric Simon, aka The Broke Agent, aka Tommy Tough Knuckles.
Ooh,
is that a new
You
one?
like that?
it's not real estate related though.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah,
You guys are fools because I negotiate in a tough way, tough knuckles with handshakes.
okay, yeah.
Saw that guy on TikTok. And we are joined here by our great co-host, Jason Cassity, aka J Money, aka the Jasonator.
I did go by J Money, but when I say go by, I had friends that called me J Money when I was like 15, so it's nostalgic for me. I'll take it.
Okay, J Money, yeah. Or have like a little league coach that calls you the Jasonator as you hit a lazy ground ball to third. You know?
And
Come
I
on,
beat
Jasonator.
it out. And I beat it out because we hustle.
Exactly. We are joined here by two amazing guests. We have a BAM least favorite, a highly unrequested guest from the Space Coast, a real, get it, amazing agent and content creator, the legendary Shane Burgman. Shane, happy Passover. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. It's a great day today here on the Space Coast. We're having fortunate weather, and I'm surrounded by some of my favorite bros. Two of my
That's
favorite
right.
bros.
Guys only episode, right?
Two of them.
Two of them.
Not
And
Eric.
finally,
Not
we are
Eric.
joined
That
here
was
by a returning guest, a BAM creator, an EXP team leader, the second most jack guy on the panel from the Grand Canyon State, Ramon. Ramon,
What's
how you
up?
doing?
Who's the first?
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, Tommy Tough Knuckles, huh? I should have known
Yeah,
that one.
tough knuckles. Tough chest. Just moved to Playa Vista, lifting 6 days a week, chest 5 of the 6. All right. We have an amazing show for you today. First, we're going to cover how to market coming soon since Zillow and Redfin are banning publicly marketed off MLS listings. Second, how we use ChatGPT for marketing in our real estate businesses, and then content that converts, how to reintroduce yourself on Instagram. If you like the sound of that, saw off your arm and then use your dead arm carcass to destroy the like button.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Good, man. He's on, dude.
That's an intro for you.
Unforgettable, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get into the first topic. Jason, what's going on with off-market listings and how to market these things?
I mean, okay, so to catch everybody up, right, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen what's going on, Compass, Zillow, Redfin, NAR, now today, Northwest MLS, there is an all-out war going on, right? So I was at Compass from 2018 to 22. And when I was there in 2018, 2019, I remember the push for private exclusives. And it was kind of always like, hey, we'll build up this inventory of private exclusives. Then we will be the go-to because we have all this market share behind our kind of, closed off area that clients will have to come to compass.com. It'll help us gather more clients and it'll help you get more business. And then I think it was 2019 when Clear Cooperation got passed. So then all of a sudden you couldn't like market publicly your private listings anymore without, 24 hours off the MLS or whatever. My assumption is because it went dark for like 4 years. And my only thought was that maybe the NAR lawsuit kind of took up their brain space because nobody really talked about the Clear Cooperation thing. And then last year, Robert Refkin, maybe because he got freed up from the NAR lawsuit, came out firing. And for the last like year, he has been heavy back on their private listing kind of like strategy, right? And so in the last just couple months, they've been touting private listings. They've been like low key trolling the industry a little bit, saying like everybody's going to do this soon. He was posting Northwest MLS listings, like congratulations to the first listing in Seattle. Well, Northwest MLS is like adamantly against private listings. Zillow came out about a month ago, maybe, or maybe not even 3 weeks ago, and said, if you do a private listing, we will never show that listing on our site. Redfin then agreed with them. EXP has taken a lead in this with Leo coming out and saying, we agree with Zillow's stance. And now, as of this morning, the Northwest MLS has cut off all Compass agents' IDX feeds from their MLS because what we have is a pissing contest here between Compass and the NW MLS. So that being said, that catches you up. And obviously, this is not Knowledge Brokers. This is a real estate marketing podcast. So we don't need to necessarily get into if this is good or bad. I have a stance on it. I'm sure Ramon and Shane and you do. When it comes to the coming soons, though, I do want to kind of say that I've always promoted coming soons, but like in kind of just a gray area way, right? So like I'll take a screenshot of a map and draw my finger around it and say, hey, I've got something coming soon in this area. Obviously, we've showcased the video that I did where I was pretty much trolling the coming soon, where I kind of ducked away and the address was behind me, and I said, I can't tell you about this, but so I've always skirted around it, but I've never really cared to like promote it as a pocket listing, right? Mm-hmm. To me, it's like we all have pocket listings. I have a database of 400 past clients. I know most of their make me move prices, and I'm always talking to those are all kind of pocket listings. I don't need a contract to then go market it, which is what Compass is kind of saying is like, this is our pre-marketing phase to test the market. I don't see the need for that. I think when the client is ready to put it on the market, they should put it on the market, right? So like I've never really done the Compass coming soon private listing marketing. I have toyed around with something that was like coming in the next week, but never, it was more for like clicks and leads and engagement, not necessarily to sell the house. So anyways, now that we've caught everybody listening up, Ramon, I'll kick it off with you. How do you guys have a ton of inventory? You have a team of like 30 plus, right? How do you guys market coming soons? How do you do that down there in Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say we don't market coming soons, but as you were talking, I do think that it does matter on the price point. And I think that, yeah, when you're, talking about a luxury price point, which a lot of Compass teams and a lot of their market share is in those luxury price points, there's less of a buyer pool. And so I think that, people want sometimes discretion. Sometimes they want to just, without, doing the whole thing, kind of just see, because it's not like 100 people are going to walk through the property on a weekend. Like, so that's not how it's going to work. So, for us, we take more of the stance where if it's a higher end property, we will make calls to the shops and teams that really service that area. Like there's people that farm those areas that are constantly selling in those markets, and we'll reach out about it. But if it's in a price point, under $1 million, I mean, actually more like in Scottsdale, under like 2 million, we really won't. I mean, we're just gonna go the same route that we go. We don't really do too much on the coming soon side. Outside of maybe have a brief, I think, 3 or 4 days in the MLS on and coming soon status, and just eliminating showings and just seeing who reaches out and really wants to see the property. But outside of that, we don't do anything specific with our average price point coming soon. That's
yeah, but that's actually allowed, right? Most MLSs now allow coming soons for like up to 30 days or something like that, where it doesn't like accrue market time and syndicate, but it's still in the MLS. Yeah. How about you, Shane?
Yeah.
Specifically on coming soon or private exclusive?
Private exclusive, I guess I'd say, or either or, right? Because some people like are having trouble differentiating between the two. I know Compass is very clear in what the three are, but MLSs just have a coming soon usually.
So, I mean, I like Jason. I mean, I was a prior Compass agent, and I was there and we had private exclusives. And the way that I always viewed that as, and the way that like the conversations happen within the brokerage, it's almost like they're trying to create their own MLS, right? Like their own separate party where listings are held. And I think you can read enough of the information out there to understand like what they're trying to do there. Like they want the data, they want the listings, and the agents benefit from that. When I was at Compass, I maybe did 1 or 2 private exclusives because I never really saw the benefit. My clients never really saw the benefit. Of course, they wanted to expose it to the masses, which makes the most sense in most scenarios. But, Ramon hit it on the head. Certain price points determine different marketing. And there's also that aspect where sellers just don't want their information out there. So discretion. So that's my whole thing on private exclusives. Coming soons, that's definitely part of our business model. And all of our listings have a certain sequence to it. So Jason and I, we've had this conversation about the best day to list. And so this dates back 3 or 4 years when we first met. And so my sequence now is I'll list on Thursday, and I will rock that coming soon on Monday or Tuesday of the same week. And what we used to do is we would start the coming soon, and we would make the listing itself maybe a little bit ambiguous in nature. We wanted to expose all of the photos. We'd keep it tantalizing. You'd have a shot of the front of the house and then maybe one of the pool in the backyard to keep interest there. And the description would be quite minimal. Again, we're trying to garner interest. So we would do that Monday or Tuesday and then go live that Thursday. But what the coming soon has allowed us to do is it allows buyers to see when it's going to hit the market, because we put in the private remarks what day. And then if we're doing an open house that weekend as well, so Saturday 11 to 1 is my sequence, then it's in the MLS and people can see that. And that syndicates to Zillow. So from just a high level planning aspect, the coming soon has allowed us to really get it in front of buyers so that they can plan their weekend, which we know as agents is the most robust time when buyers are out shopping.
Super interesting. Do you do professional photos and then still just release 1 or 2 on the Monday and then put them all on Thursday?
I do now. We used to. That was the one exception where we would take a photo of the front of the house on a cell phone and we would load that up. But about a year ago, I said I want all professional photos. So sometimes I've had my media guys go out and take a couple shots of the exterior to use as coming soon. But now most of my listings, we have enough time to plan that where we have all the media back, and I will upload everything for the coming soon. And then on Thursday, when it cycles live, like this morning, we had a few listings cycle live automatically. The listing was already built on Tuesday.
That's actually it's a really smart strategy.
On the coming soon too, like I guess I should have dove deeper into that a little bit because that was really good what you just said. But we'll do a couple photos, money shots only. So
Money
similar,
shots.
money shots only. Create some mystique, and I think in this market, right, like especially in our market, average days on market is around 70 right now, and that's extremely high. And so,
Mhm.
the best thing you can do is create enthusiasm and excitement around the listing. And so just by the first people who are going to be able to see it on a Friday, Saturday, right? If that's your or Saturday, Sunday, those are your first showing days. It's coming soon from like Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to goes live. You can start viewing it on Saturday. I mean, psychologically, what it does when a client says, "Hey, I want to see this property," agent goes on to whatever their showing calendar is for whatever MLS they use, and they see that there's 3 other showings on that first Saturday. Like, what does that do psychologically from the buyer's perspective and the agent? It goes, "Oh, this is a desirable property." Like, so we talk to our clients a lot about this, about creating an excitement and energy around that very first weekend. Like, if we're priced right, there's going to be a lot of activity, and we're going to create excitement around the listing. And sometimes you hit it on the head, and other times it's like it falls a little short. But that's what's been effective, I think, in this market for us on the
And I
coming
will
soon
say,
side.
and with coming soon's, like Jason, you said some markets it's 30 days or whatever. Our market, it's 21 days. So that's the longest duration a coming soon can exist. Otherwise, it automatically goes on the MLS.
Yeah.
And so I've had conversations with other agents where it's like there's a point where that coming soon is actually going to harm the listing more than it makes it better, right? So coming soon was originally intended if there's repairs that need to be done on the property, like painted, they buy some time still that people know it's going to be up for sale. The way that Ramon and I are leveraging this is a way to create excitement and then also not let it go stale. So that the 3 to 4 days is normally the maximum amount of time, in my opinion, that a coming soon should exist. It's not like we're selling an iPhone and need to tell people 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
Does your MLS count coming soon days on market time?
No.
Right. No, neither does ours. I had heard, I think that some did or something. I'm like, well, what's the point at that point? You're just racking up market time.
Yeah.
But Eric, what do you
Jason,
think? I mean, you've seen obvious. Oh, go ahead, Ramon.
No, go ahead. I guess we should let Eric talk, I suppose.
I know nothing about this. This is fascinating. Seriously, I don't. I'm not listing properties.
But you see real estate marketing all day, every day, right? Have you seen
Yeah.
effective coming soon campaigns or anything like that, or does it just seem like it's might as well just be the same thing?
I mean, the only ones that I am super knowledgeable about are the ones that I see from you, where you do those stories or you did that kind of teaser post with the address behind. So I'm not seeing that many of these, to be honest. I'm enjoying the conversation to see 3 operating real estate agents talk about how they go about this, because I truly have no idea.
Yeah, Jason, you do a good job with that. I mean, you probably out of the coming soons, like I would agree with that. I do actually notice when you market your coming soons. I will give you a hot take. I think that Compass is doing what the industry should have done 10 years ago.
This is a zag to maybe the EXP stance on the whole thing.
I know it's not knowledge brokers, but I mean, I think that they're doing it. It just took somebody big enough with deep enough pockets and enough courage, we'll use that word, to do it. But I think that, controlling their information, controlling their top of funnel portal, right? Bringing clients into their world, keeping the data like we talked about. I mean, that's the power struggle with Zillow, is that it's all the data. And once somebody has all the data, now they control the other moving parts. And I think what Compass is doing, I personally think it's brilliant.
I feel like it's trying to put the water, the toothpaste back in the tube, though. It's already out, right? The consumer already uses Zillow. So now if the answer is, well, we're just going to keep our inventory back, the consumers are like, what the heck? Now I'm missing stuff or whatever. Now that we're here, I feel like you're kind of trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube a little bit.
The question becomes like, statistically, can we correlate real data to private exclusive, having what clear tangible benefit? And, those responses will vary. And again, based on price point. On the flip side, though, I do believe that every consumer should have the choice. I do 100% believe in it's about the consumer's choice, and consumers make good and bad decisions all day long. Like, we can't tell them, oh, this is a good decision, this is bad. I think we should advise, here's some of the downfalls or the pitfalls of this route. Here are the benefits. Vice versa, here's the benefits of going on market, and potentially some of the pitfalls there too. I mean, I think that's how I see it, at least.
The libertarian side of me like is so with that, in the sense that sellers should be allowed to sell their house however they want. Like, why are we restricting the seller from selling their house in a certain way? But then on the flip side, it's like, well, then this way makes it harder for buyers. It's already hard enough for buyers to find inventory. So because EXP, if Compass does it, EXP is going to do it, and Real is going to do it, and Keller Williams is going to do it. So now all the inventory is fragmented for all the different buyers. And if the buyer signs an exclusive with you as their agent at EXP, now they can't look at Compass's inventory and Keller Williams inventory. You know what I mean? So it just got a lot harder for buyers in an already inventory starved situation. That's my only concern.
Ramon, your MLS, do you have the ability to, like, before all of this shit came out, like, could you do an MLS exclusion?
I can't speak for certain on Arizona's, but in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you could, yeah. Now I haven't manually put in one of those listings in quite a few years, but previously there was the last part of the listing was the IDX feeds, and you could opt out of it. That was an option at one point.
Well, we can do that now, but what I'm talking about is, so like even in our MLS, like I could sign a listing agreement and I can exclude it from the MLS, which is effectively a private exclusive. That's the seller's choice to say, I do not want this to go on the internet. And at that mercy, it's between our database, right? So that's why this whole thing to me is interesting, because it's like, I feel like this choice has already existed, but now it's way more public, and there's brokerages that are backing it for like different reasons. Like I feel like Compass is doing this maybe not for the better of the consumer, but for their agents and their brokerage. That's how my opinion is of it. And it sounds like, I don't know if we're polarizing on that, but I don't necessarily understand why, they should be doing that and why it would be the best thing.
Yeah. We have the ability to do the MLS exclusions, but you just can't then publicly market it. But to me, I'm like, well, that's a pocket listing. So why do we need to publicly market it? So if my client wants to sign an agreement and then keep it off the MLS, they've always been able to do that. We're just not only allowed to market it to our brokerage. It's the second that the brokerage creates their own private inventory exclusive portal and then tries to drive traffic to it. Now they're using these pocket listings as public marketing, right? And that's where they're trying to gray area the entire.
Which is exactly what Zillow does at scale. And they say that, it's better for the consumer, but simultaneously benefits them. So both companies are saying the same thing. They're saying that, this benefits the seller, it gives them choice, but it benefits the brokerage. Zillow's saying it benefits the consumer, but it benefits Zillow. I think though that, who represents you becomes a lot more important. Let's just say we go down that path. And so for me, I think that, buyers agents specifically sometimes feel like commodities because all the information is readily available. I'm not saying it's bad that buyers can't view that they can view every home. I'm not saying that should not be a thing. I do think that is something that has to be taken into consideration. But on the flip side, if we as an industry always are talking about the barrier of entry is low and there's riffraff, and I'm like, well, here's a really great way to mitigate a lot of that riffraff is by making the making the market, not going to say more challenging because that's not right, but more competitive, I suppose. Like who and what you know about your market and how you understand the industry will ultimately dictate how well you can serve a consumer.
You're absolutely right. I think that, and it's so funny because like these changes going back to 2019 pre-Clear QuAP would benefit me, would benefit Real, would benefit the big brokerages, right? All the big broker EXP and stuff like, and it would benefit the big players like you guys, like us, like the knowledge brokers, like those with experience. All of those people are going to benefit from it. I'm trying to think about the consumer in there too, because I think it actually is better for us because it will eliminate a lot of the bottom fodder of the industry.
Yeah.
I just wonder if it's the downfall of Zillow, or is the other brokerage, is Compass, going to renege on their decision, which I don't see that outcome coming. So I see this as a potential huge issue for Zillow. Like even thinking, how are they going to prove if it was a private exclusive? Is it a checkbox the agent has to do and say this was privately listed or not? And then like, how are they going to, that's where my mind is like, this could go one of two ways.
I foresee this is my prediction. So luckily it's on video. I can clip this, but I think Compass and homes.com have a partnership coming. Because homes.com has the your listing, your lead model. And that's kind of what Compass is going to go to, is like, we're not going to show on Zillow and Redfin. Our stuff's going to go on homes.com because they are honoring the your listing, your leads model. There's something brewing there, I think.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to the portals, right? I mean, you look at Zillow and their model, and their top of funnel is undeniable. 217 million unique monthly users. Like, there's not anyone even close. Um, but I do think like these portals, like Rocket's a phenomenal example, Compass, CoStar, who knows, right? But everyone wants the top of funnel, and they want to keep them in the funnel for all things they need related to home ownership, and they want to own that relationship. And so I think that, yeah, Compass is making their play, and I think others will too, because at the end of the day, it's a fight for the data. It's a fight for the top of level or top of funnel consumer. So I mean,
Take
I think it
that,
will.
knowledge brokers. We have now surpassed them with
Oh
three
yeah.
big brains right here. We got to move on to the next couple topics here, but that was a fascinating conversation. Let us know your thoughts on the coming soons and how you market them down below in the comments. And by the way, throw this video a like for this brainy conversation, right? What a super brainy conversation. All
What do you
right.
think
Anyway,
about that? What do you think about me thinking that the people with experience will win, Eric?
what? Oh, is that what we call a little alley-oop handoff? Because that's exactly what I was going to do. A quick break to put you on something that's actually helping agents dominate online. It is experience.com. If you haven't heard of it, this is the platform that gives real estate agents a free profile that boosts your visibility on Google search and maps. We're talking 93% of users showing up on the first page of Google. From one dashboard, you can manage your entire online presence, collect and showcase reviews, track customer sentiment, and even share client feedback straight to social. And did I mention it is gamified, because reputation management is way more fun than when there's a scoreboard. Victory Plus affiliates boosted their website traffic by 4,000% after partnering with experience.com. So if you want to show up higher, look better online, and actually control your digital reputation, hit the link in the description below. All right, let's get into something that I know a little bit about. I felt like it was the old episodes of the walkthrough there, Jason, when Byron would just be talking about some sort of real estate news, and I'd basically just be sitting there like facing the other direction. But I'm glad to have this. ChatGPT. I have just started using it at a different level than I was before, which was initially brainstorming. But I want to start with the panel here. How are we using ChatGPT in our real estate and marketing business? Shane, I'll start with you. Besides creating a viral text conversation that got like 6 million views, or however you went about that, how are you using ChatGPT in real estate?
To keep it simple, I'll try to just hit it on three topics, the ones in
Yep.
order of like the most use to the least. So first one would be getting listing descriptions kind of started, right, for us. So every listing that we have, I need kind of brainstorming with that. So ChatGPT is a great tool that will, throw a couple prompts there, show some information about the home, add some personality, make it sound like me, give me some sarcasm to it, and then boom, it's like 90% there. I tweak it a little bit, make sure it's less than 1,000 characters, and then it's good there. I'd say the second use is helping me generate hooks for videos that we're doing. So a lot of times I will use this to kind of help me either craft a beginning of a hook that I might, again, tweak or modify a little bit, but it seems like it eliminates like 70% of my brain power to get me there so I can focus more on the creative aspect of it. Whereas before all of this, we did all of that, and sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. And I'd say third, from our website, just being able to use ChatGPT to help me understand, rich SEO, other things that can really help our website, and even into our YouTube. I'll combine the two as far as creating just good searchable topics, descriptions, and subject lines for our videos.
Love that. 3 in a row right there. Listing descriptions, hooks, and then helping out with SEO. Ramon, what about you? Are you using ChatGPT at all right now?
Yeah, I mean, listing descriptions definitely. Our transaction team uses it pretty frequently. But for me, I love writing like long form stuff like that. For me, on like I always have done a better job conveying messages in writing them. So I like to use ChatGPT not to write it for me, but just to kind of put the framework in place very quick, and then I go through and make it my own. But a lot of those times where you have like, I don't know, I don't really subscribe to writer's block, but if you have that, like, I don't really know, like it's just such a phenomenal way to spark energy and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's fascinating is that a lot of things in the legal world, I mean, different agreements and independent contractor and different just whether it's working with different vendors and there's you need to exclude something, like I've found it a lot more cost effective to get those done on ChatGPT, and then I'll maybe send to our attorney just to double check it, but it cuts cuts the bill in half a lot of times. So just like anything structural in terms of like legal documents, policies, disclosures, just does a really good job about double checking that. So we run a lot of our operational things through ChatGPT just to double check.
When you say long form, do you mean in email conversations
Yeah.
or blogs or
Yeah,
phone text conversations?
blogs, email, even like Facebook posts. Like I've always been more of a
Yeah.
writer on Facebook more than I have been anything else, or like LinkedIn. It definitely helps for those things. Yeah.
Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I've started to use it for everything. Like I
Yeah.
was using Gemini for a little bit, and then but I've merged into ChatGPT Pro, and so I have built a custom GPT. So the paid one, you can build like custom GPTs, and so I have one where I uploaded my disc profile, gave it my Instagram, gave it my YouTube, gave it a bunch of Zillow scripts and stuff like that, and now it thinks like me. And it's like it was actually coming from the Sell It Sirhan community. They kind of taught you how to do that, and so you upload a bunch of prompts and cues into like the back end, like the settings, and so now it answers every question like me. It makes me think like, and so you can, I mean, down to like, I'll upload an inspection report and say, hey, give me a line by line cost estimate of everything that's noted in this inspection report. And then I can use that in my negotiations, down to writing listing descriptions, captions, whatever it is. I wanted listing video. I've got this house. I'll put the address in and say, hey, I want to do kind of a emotional listing video here. Give me some ideas. And it'll give you a bunch of batch ideas. So yeah, I constantly use it. I actually learned the other day, you could take a picture of the water heater label. Have you seen that? And it'll tell you exactly the year it was built, or it was
Serial
produced.
number.
Sometimes it doesn't always, by the serial number. Everything. It's like a widget on my homepage now, so I can just pull it up.
I can't believe we have this tool now to where you could copy paste an inspection report, figure out what the potential costs are for, say like, hey, explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old, like I'm an idiot. I could have used all of this back in the day because I would spend hours writing listing descriptions. That was one of my first jobs as a real estate agent. I was a marketing assistant. I would go to these big houses in Beverly Hills for my boss and just walk around with a notepad, but I had no idea where to start. I didn't know what the certain, kitchen was. I didn't know any of those terms, but now you could just upload photos or upload your thoughts to it and have it actually spit it out, which is amazing.
The deep research tool, it was initially on Gemini. I think it's on ChatGPT now as well, where you can give it a topic and it'll go, basically it takes about 10 minutes. It gives you back a full report on your topic. Is fantastic. Like I gave it and I said, hey, I said compare EXP and real, like the REAX versus EXPI. Look at the financials over the last 5 years and compare the strengths and weaknesses of both companies and give me a report on it. And then I said, hey, what are the top 5 biggest factors in the residential real estate agent community moving forward that I should be aware of and worry about, right? And it'll say like automation and commission compression. It breaks it down. It does almost like a thesis for you where it scours the internet and then gives you a full-on report. I love the deep research tool.
I've used it for like my monthly mailers that I'll send out to my neighborhood. And like I will put together basically a spreadsheet of all the sales, what's active, pending, and closed, and then aggregate a bunch of data on there. And then I'll have it generate a summary and basically take 3 key points from that. And on the backside of my postcards, it's like where I step in as an advisor, like, okay, here's the data. Here is, my advice on it and what I'm seeing with that data. So I've used that to kind of decipher the data there from the real estate side. And then it made me think of 2 other ways that I've used it recently. Like the other night I was making a cocktail and I said, I have these 3 ingredients, generate like 5 different cocktail ideas for me. And it came up with some great ideas there. And then I've also used it to program a 7-week training cycle for like a triathlon that I'm doing right now. Like I plugged in the equipment that I have at my home, like kind of the parameters of what time I want to do it. And it shot out like a really great program for me, which we used to have to pay a lot of money for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to start using it more for humor. ChatGPT is not funny, but you could have it, create funny content or brainstorm with you. But this new cartoon angle that I really saw first, Sharon posted, it was a carousel post, and he got like 1,000 comments on it, where he sent me a PDF. It's a 6-page PDF that actually has the prompt and shows exactly how each individual slide needs the hook and needs the headline up top, to where each carousel is like its own hook in itself to keep you swiping all the way through. And I'm so excited to do that because I wrote that book, Commission Impossible, a cartoon book. I had an illustrator, and this took, a year to basically create. And now all of the funny concepts that I've been doing on The Broke Agent, I could basically create cartoon characters out of, which I'm really excited to do because it just breaks up the feed. When you're scrolling and you see a cartoon, you're going to stop, just like those action figures that everybody was posting. Shane, you did like a mockery of one. I did a Broke Agent one. Those absolutely crushed. So we're going to be dropping a lot more AI prompts to our BAMX community too, just because this is going to be such a new wave of content.
Mhm.
You saw Neil Dingra, he just launched his Forward event, which is an amazing event. And the whole promo video is an AI video of him like walking through destroyed Las Vegas. So I'm pumped for it. I was using it very minimally in terms of brainstorming, helping with grammar, helping organize lead magnets, emails specifically. You know, how do I make this email title shorter? Make this email title shorter and make it so it gets more opens. And then it'll give me 5 emails. I always say to give me, a bunch of different options. Or for YouTube titles like the walkthrough, I'll say, hey, this is what we talked about in the episode. Give me 10 YouTube titles that are clickbaity for real estate agents, but still describe what's happening in the episode. So the more you use it, the more fun it becomes. It's kind of daunting at first because you're like, here's this tool that everybody's using that I have not yet mastered. But then the more you use it, you're just going to start using it for basically everything.
At first,
Crazy.
I felt like it was kind of like cheating, and I didn't really
Yeah,
appreciate
I
it. I
know.
was like, "Oh no, man, this is going to eliminate my creativity, and it's not original because I'm leaning on this." And then you use it more, and you see how much time it saves you. And then I read something the other day where it put it like perfectly. It's like view these tools as a partner to whatever you're trying to do, not like a slave or not like as far as the demands go. It's a partner to your business model. And so that kind of changed my philosophy on the way that I view it. And it's like, yeah, now I'm leaning on this tool to help with a lot of aspects of my business and personal life too.
Exactly. All right, let's rapid fire content that converts. I have 3 posts from our panel. Let's start with Ramon. Ramon, this is an investment carousel post that you posted a few months ago, I want to say. But I just love the simplicity of it. If you are not watching, you should be watching. Head over to YouTube right now. So it starts with just a Instagram dark background where it just says my first investment property. And you just created this probably in create mode or something on your phone. Then it just swipes to pictures of this house. But that's not what's so good about this post. It's a good carousel hook. Keep it up here. It's the story in the caption. So you're hooking people in about your first investment property. It just swipes to pictures of the house, but it's you telling the entire story, which is, a huge part of your brand are investment properties. And I just think it's always good when people go back to their first showing ever, their first listing ever, their first video ever, because it shows people the journey. And this was just such an organic post and reminds people that you can tell the story in the caption. So great work, Ramon. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, but I just thought that was a really effective way to communicate on Instagram with the story in the caption.
The most effective way I've been able to communicate and get the activity that I'm looking for is proof over promise. And sharing exactly what it is, like showing with essentially zero, not going to say regard, but with zero filter. And that's been super effective. It's that one specifically, it wasn't necessarily like the like count or comments. It was the, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 DMs. I'm like, I need to get into the game. Like, that was so inspiring. Like, I remember when you talked about buying that property 8 years ago, right? Like, it was cool.
Yeah. Anytime you could go back on those stories. And Jason, you do this too, where you post videos that show your video journey of this is what you filmed 10 years ago. And it shows the people who are just starting in this business and haven't perfected their video marketing that this is a grind and a muscle that you create. And I just think that it's vulnerable and effective. So
Agreed.
Yeah. Good work, Jason. All right, Shane, here's a video that you have pinned. What's that?
It's a good work, Ramon. You say
Good work,
Yeah,
Ramon.
you're a great writer, man. By the way, like that's the long form that you were referencing earlier. Like I can tell, like you've put a lot of effort and emotion behind that, and you are a phenomenal writer.
And people
Awesome.
do read
Thanks, man.
captions like that. Like
Yeah.
that is a blog post in itself. Is you don't have to publish that to a website. Like there's a full story right there in the caption, hooked in by the carousel post. Shane, you have a post that is pinned to your profile right now, I believe, that is a new way to reintroduce yourself as an agent on Instagram.
If you're new to my page, here are 3 things about me. All right, the first thing is I grew up around sales. So my father was a career salesman. He sold automobiles and RVs, and all of his brothers are in some sort of sales position as well, real estate or finance. I grew up around negotiating. I grew up around people arguing for their position. And it's something that now in real estate, I actually really enjoy. I enjoy negotiating. I enjoy contracts, and I enjoy meeting new people and finding new clients and serving them and becoming their real estate agent for life. It's just something that is fun for me. Number 2, my love for systems and processes. You probably know this about me, but I spent 10 years in the military. I served on submarines, and everything that we do on a submarine has a procedure for it. I have adopted that mindset and have applied it to my real estate career. So everything from the way that we do valuations, the way that my calendar invites go out, the way that I show property, anything you can imagine as part of my business has a procedure behind it. And number 3, my passion for being creative and videos. So you probably don't know this about me. I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and during the CKY and Jackass era. And that was like a huge part of my life. We would go out to the local mall and to the local plazas, find shopping carts and ramp them off of stair sets. I also was a big BMX rider. I literally thought that's what I was going to do for a living. So we always had a camera. We were filming the jumps we were doing, filming the handrails we were grinding. I've broken my fair share of bones in my life. And so I've taken that kind of philosophy and I've matured a little bit more with it now, slightly. I'm trying to not break as many bones, but still being as creative as we can within the parameters of life, and also being almost a 40-year-old man with 3 kids. And so if you've seen any of my ridiculous videos and you're just like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Now you know why I am the way I am.
I mean, how good is that?
That was so
Like,
good.
it's just an amazing piece of content, Shane, because you are reintroducing yourself to your followers, because you probably had an about me maybe, years, months ago, but you're picking up so many followers, throughout this journey, especially because you have so much viral content. It is important to show people again who you are and who you are as a real estate agent. So what made you think about doing that post?
We actually filmed that for our YouTube channel, and then just redid it for Instagram. So it sits on my YouTube channel as like our primary video there as well, because that has been a big initiative for us to really get traffic there, and it's been growing significantly. But throwing it out on Instagram, kind of same thought. Like, a lot of people go there, they might know a little bit about you, but I feel like that was a really easy way to kind of put some context to maybe why I'm so vulgar, or the stuff I wear. It's like a lot of the culture that I was around, and I feel like people either resonate with it or not. And there's so many aspects of my business, like that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I want to create a barrier of people, if they enter it, like, I love you, and those are my people. And if not, that's fine. But at least we've made that choice early on and didn't waste any time, trying to build a relationship that wasn't going to go anywhere.
It's such a purposeful piece of content. It's not a piece that's going to go viral, right? Like, you're not going to get 50 shares out of that, because it's not, that interesting for me to be like, hey, look at this new real estate agent. But it's so good for people who land on your page, who consume your other content. They say, oh, I want to learn a little bit more about this guy. And then you have that post pinned right there. So if you're an agent listening to this, you could pin up to 3 posts. You probably should pin something that describes a little bit more who you are, to attract more clients. So I thought that was great. All right, let's play Ramon's video about his favorite book in real estate.
An exceptional book that'll help you crush as a real estate agent is this one right here. I always keep an extra copy. It's called Multipliers. It's the art of asking questions. It's the art of learning how to become more interested than interesting. And when people know that you're truly vested in learning about them more than you're trying to tell them about how great you are, you make a friend, you make a sale. Relationships first, real estate second. That's how you crush it as an agent in this business. And this book will help you get there.
So I like this piece of content, one, because it's raw, simple to post, and it's just a new way to look about like your mindset in real estate. And people want book recommendations, movie recommendations. So it's just such a good hook for a video. What is that book? I've never seen that book.
It's called Multipliers by Liz Wiseman. And yeah, it's a phenomenal book. It's actually, I always love books that reference studies and data. And that one specifically was data around how the questions you ask and your demeanor as a leader and how you lead will ultimately dictate and can fluctuate the overall IQ of your organization. Like, you can diminish the intelligence of your group and you can also increase it, but it all depends on how you communicate. And the root of the book was talking about the strength and power of questions.
Mm-hmm. I just think like that's an easy piece of content for agents to replicate, is what are you reading right now? Mm-hmm. How is it affecting your business, your life? Like that, it's a new way to kind of describe your hobbies or personality by showing what you're interested in. Jason, are you reading anything right now?
No, I just got the Let Them, the Mel Robbins. I know like everybody's reading Let Them right now, but I did just get that, but I haven't cracked it open yet. So it's sitting on my nightstand. I just, talking about like both those, all 3 of those, you notice we've got a storytelling in the caption. We've got a great about me type video, right? Because obviously like that was fantastic, but that was also professionally done. And then we have like a raw just like camera's kind of bad angle. You're like, hey, this is what I'm reading right now. All three of those, there's no brokerage provided templates. There's no just solds. There's no, you know what I mean? It's all the content we've been preaching for the last year on this show. And so they all have different reasons why you would use them, and they all worked really well, like to help us get to know you, like you, and trust you better.
I see a satire angle with that book piece too, where I could say, hey, if you're a real estate agent, you have to read this book. And then I do pull out like Chamber of Secrets or Goblet of Fire or something like that. And just talk about why, the wizardry world is so important for your foundation. Shane, you would be a Slytherin, by the way, if I had to put the sorting hat on your head. Ramon, Gryffindor, Jason, Hufflepuff.
So are you Ravenclaw to complete it?
No, I'm Slytherin. I'm half Slytherin, half Gryffindor.
Oh, half and half.
Yeah, a little half and half. The sorting hat would have no idea where to put me.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another piece here from Shane. This is a listing video with an amazing hook. We don't have to play the whole video, but I just love the way he framed up this listing.
I guarantee you've never seen a man cave like this one. By far, this is one of my most favorite rooms in this property. On game day, you can't figure out which game you want to play. You have your own personal Jumbotron above.
First off, that's an amazing man cave. It had the stadium. What is that called? The stadium centerpiece,
like a little Jumbotron.
The Jumbotron, exactly. But just the way you said, I guarantee you've never seen a man cave like this. You're highlighting a very specific feature of the home, and I just think that those videos always do so much better than starting with the address or your name. You're telling people like, you got to see this aspect of it.
Yeah.
You want to know my favorite part about that video is that there was a little meta in there with Shane's Interstellar video where he's talking to Matthew McConaughey and he says, I got a blazer with a pocket square, and then he's rocking the blazer with the pocket square in that video. Just great job, Shane. Great job.
Thank you. There's probably less than 1% of my audience can see the little Easter eggs that we put in videos. And that's a whole nother thing about the creative angle that we put in stuff. It's like, who's going to remember why we did this or what? Like that recruited video we talked about earlier, Ramon, like there's so many deep angles with that. But these listing video, like that was a hook that, I know when we do a listing video, like we're not supposed to say it's for a family or what kind of demographic it is. But when you think about marketing, like you need to market to who that buyer is. And in my mind, that's one of the first things I always do on one of my listings. I'm figuring out that buyer avatar and I want to speak directly to them. So I know the person for that home, they have to value that man cave, whether they're a female or a male. Like to me, that doesn't matter, but like that's a highlight that's going to push that home. So it's like we've pulled out that piece. How do we truncate it and make it deliverable, and then also get right to the sex appeal or the, what did you call it, Ramon? The hot shots or
the money shots?
The money shots, the centerfold. Yeah.
Yeah. Money shots could be some sort of NSFW reference there.
I never heard of it in other terms.
Yeah, me neither. All right. Speaking of niche prospecting, let's play this video from Ramon talking about niche prospecting.
Niche prospecting will make you a lot more money. See, when you attack a niche, you know exactly who and what you are looking for. Your client avatar becomes very, very clear. So to give you an example, it's like homeowners above the age of 50 in XYZ zip code who have owned that home for more than 10 years, have 50% loan to value ratio or less, and are above 3,000 square feet and 2-story. Right. So I'm targeting the empty nesters. The kids have moved out of the house. The stairs are getting harder and harder to climb. The maintenance for 3,000 square feet is getting harder and harder to keep up with. And they have plenty of equity to downsize. So creating solutions for specific pain points and situations allows you to better find your customer, better service the customer, and also charge a premium for that. So I call it the shotgun versus sniper approach. So if you're struggling to find more clients, consider narrowing down your focus and narrowing down who and what you are looking for. Then build a killer offer that solves their exact pain points. You'll thank yourself you did.
So this could be perceived, and it probably was, an agent to agent video, right? Because you're educating other agents on how to prospect. But if I'm a client watching that, I immediately know how knowledgeable you are about real estate, the way you were saying, the older demographic, the stairs, the 3,000 square feet or whatever it was just like, there was so much information there that's a video that plays to both sides of, hey, I'm talking to you agents, just like when Shane does, where he's talking about his systems, but the clients are watching that being like, I want to work with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, a lot of my stuff is live. That one was live, I think. Actual coaching calls. Like, this sounds good. I should probably record it. But yeah, it's like whatever you're like when you know what you're looking for, it's easier to find. And I think that's especially like maybe not for Shane or Jason, but for an agent who's in their first couple years in the business, like you're just trying to figure out like where do I fit in this whole thing? I don't have referrals and friends and tons of people who know me and a super successful social media brand. And when you narrow it down like that, I think that's huge because if the reverse happens, if I narrow, then I can't serve everybody. It's like, no. You can narrow, serve these people at the highest level, and you can still serve everybody else. It's quite the opposite. But yeah, that was one from a while back, actually. Good find.
Yeah, I was thank you. I was
You were
deep diving
creeping.
on the
Yeah,
pages.
creeping.
I was creeping a little bit, exactly. Hey, look, when you quarterback the show, you got to pull up some clips. Jason, remember a few episodes ago we had on the Compass CMO?
Yeah,
and
Matt Spangler.
Matt Spangler, which was a great episode. Highly recommend listening to it. He was talking about something similar to Ramon about how do you come up with your content plan. And he was talking about reverse engineering who your clients are, where your deals are coming from, what your specific demo is. And then you can start creating content around that. So if you find out like, oh, it's mostly first-time home buyers aged 28 to 32 that are single, then that's sort of the content that you start to make. So they kind of feed into each other.
You know why that video worked really well too? What I liked about it is you played on because like the camera was off angle a little bit, like it was off to the side, almost like we were listening in to a live coaching call. And so that's like in social media a lot, like people just they like to feel like they're eavesdropping a little bit, or like they're a voyeur in the situation. And so they're watching you do this thing live. I've done a few of those where I have funny enough, I have like a fake phone, my old phone. So I'll set up my phone over here, and then I'll just be like, as I'm on like a live coaching call type thing, or I'm on a live call, because instead of me talking to the camera, we're kind of desensitized to talking head videos now. So now it's actually, you're changing the setting a bit to like a situation that the viewer is not supposed to be in. They're eavesdropping on you. And then usually they stick around a little bit longer when you do that.
Yeah. It makes the content just feel more natural. I also like, Ramon, how those are all just one take. Like you're saying a lot in just like a 60-second period where there aren't that many edits to, and we're so used to seeing so many edits that it is kind of a nice like content break to see that organic video made. Shane, I don't want to play this video from you, but it was a video you made recently about how you get content from ideas through scrolling. So if you could just touch upon that, because I think I'd rather just have you say it than just play the video of you saying it, reacting to that video, because that's psychotic.
Yeah, no, it was basically like low-hanging fruit, how to come up with ideas. So it's like as much as you're a contributor, you should be also absorbing content. So when I go on my social feeds, like I'm mainly there to conduct research. So I'm looking at trends, I'm looking at what other people are doing, and then that naturally will kind of spark my creative process to say, oh, I should do a version of this, or how is this applicable to real estate? And so that video I had filmed right after we had done collaboration video, and it was a golf video that was made, and we replicated it and tied it into real estate. So a completely different industry, but it worked really well with what we were trying to do. And so we weren't the original idea for that content. It was something that we kind of took and then replicated and then added in our real estate twist with our creativity. And it was a very well done video. But there's a lot of agents out there that struggle with, coming up with content ideas. And I feel like the easiest solution is just like be influenced by what you're absorbing and what you like and what you want to produce. And the answers are all on your feed.
When your wife sees you scrolling on Instagram, do you tell her that you're conducting research?
No.
Okay. I could just picture you sitting there with your glasses on, acting like you're conducting research when you're just scrolling Instagram or Twitter all day.
I've only said that once, and that's to you guys.
Yeah.
It's so true though. I was watching just yesterday, right? I saw one of Paige Steckling's listing videos drop. And then as I'm watching it, there was this little thing. She probably didn't even know like what I saw. It was like this kind of like flashy kind of transition. And I'm like, it sparked a whole listing video idea for me. Yeah. And so like I went to my notes app, I immediately put the listing video that I saw, and it wasn't what she was doing. It was like this little part of what she did, but it sparked an entire new listing video for me.
Yeah, if you're not consuming content, you're not seeing what's working for other people. It sparks 90% of my ideas now is seeing memes and posts from other pages, or seeing, this is how Gary Vee is publishing content. This is probably how we should do it. Like Sharon does that cartoon. I texted him immediately, sent the prompt. I do a cartoon 24 hours later. Mine got 90% less engagement than his and looked way worse, but still it was an attempt. So if you are an agent who is looking like us to stand out from the crowd, Reminder Media is a resource you have to check out. You get your own branded print and digital magazines, newsletters, and social media content. Reminder delivers these resources to your contacts on autopilot, keeping you top of mind with your database. All you got to do is focus on your follow-up calls and watch referrals from repeat business come in. Marketer of the Week is going to be on BAMFest next week. So I'm not playing any other videos. These guys crushed it with their marketing videos already. Next week on Wednesday is BAMFest. This is our free virtual event. We got Jimmy Burgess talking the YouTube blueprint. We got Veronica Figueroa, EXP agent Ramon. You know, she is an amazing operator, has built an enormous team. So she's doing a fireside chat with Byron. And then Sharon is doing a fireside chat with the biggest mystery guest we've ever had. I wish we could say his name, but we can't.
You just said it was a guy.
Fine. I'm giving out hints. I'm going to start peppering in. Let's just say this guy's one of the best content creator entrepreneurs in the game right now. So if you have not signed up for BAMFest, it's completely free. Hit the link down in the description. And by the way, there's going to be some music too. Shane, we got a little music video from you said, that I'm pumped to see. We got one from Derek Gregory and possibly one from Guy Fontaine. So it should be a super valuable, entertaining. Ramon, are you going to have the squad, your team watching this?
Yes, I am. Wednesday, next week.
It sounds like you're hearing about this for the first time and that your squad is not going to be watching
No,
this.
I am not. I am not hearing about it for the first time. Tessa has it's on my calendar the whole nine.
Yeah, sure it is. Let's see that phone. Jason, are you going to be tuning in?
I'll be flying during BAMFest. So
okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Look, we might send a
Wait,
replay out.
What time is it?
It is at 12 Eastern, and the mystery guest is the first person. So right after we have a DJ spinning for the first 30 minutes.
9 Pacific.
9 a.m.
My flight's at 9:50, so I can catch the first person. I'll watch it in the airport.
Where are you going?
San Antonio. Shane will be there too. Real estate video.
Yeah, we're staying in the same room.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That'll be fun.
All right,
everybody. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Walkthrough. If you got any value out of this, which you must have, we had an amazing conversation at the beginning, how to use ChatGPT, content that converts. Make sure you throw this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and follow our panelists. Shane, what is your Instagram?
Shane Burgman.
Shane Burgman. Ramon, your Instagram.
Ramon.Casaus.
Follow them right now and go follow Jason Cassity and go follow The Broke Agent. Thank you.